Welcome to Tinks Invest, where we talk about investing, finance, and professionalism. As the recording time of 9:40 a.m. on Eastern Time, Ethereum contract $3,106, up about 1.07% so far. As you can see clearly on the overall crypto market and the equity market. On the crypto market side of the house, kind of a mixed bag at the moment, but most of the altcoins are relatively red at the moment, while the key coins, Ethereum is currently up about 1.13%, while Bitcoin is flat at the moment, down about just 0.15% so far. And on the equity side, we can see that clearly that Dow Jones is currently up about 0.12%. Nasdaq is also flat at the moment, down about 0.10%. S&P is also flat as well, 0.03%. So across this board, the Friday, it seems like it's just been relatively flat so far. And I was looking around just like a lot of publication companies and also more the scholastic publications that's releasing later today. It seems like there is going to be one catalyst that's coming out in approximately 19 minutes from now, and it's going to be a sentiment reading that University of Michigan published after the CPI report, basically every single month, and it's going to be released at 10 a.m. on the Eastern Time, right? And the report will be obviously a digestion on the recent CPI report, their own perspective, their own analysis on, obviously the key issue, right? The inflationary pressure in the historical perspective, but also in the future forecast perspective, right? So we'll see how the market will digest it going forward. In addition to that, we also see some other news that is popping up around the spectrum, and this is around Bitcoin specifically. It seems like there are a couple of different publications that's coming out from respective investment banks earlier today and last night. One is coming from Stifel, which is an investment bank based in New York. And the head of equity strategy, Barry Bannister, he sees that with respect to the inflationary pressure that the Fed is triangulating going forward, he foresees that Bitcoin could potentially crash all the way to $10,000 by 2023. Ultimately, it's a speculation, and I think he foresees that the Feds will continue to, increase the bond yields, which obviously would not do us any good favor across not just crypto market but for the entire market, and he believes that in addition to the 7 rates of what Wall Street is depicting so far or foreshadowing so far, he foresees that the 7 is just a more of a preliminary approximation. He foresees that potentially it could drag out to a couple of years out. So he doesn't believe that this is going to be some sort of just 1 year can fix it all. It's going to take a couple years for us to fix. And I think it logically makes sense because of the fact that we've been in a pandemic for close to 2.5, 3 years now. It wouldn't make much logical sense for us to believe that it would just take 1 year for the Feds to get their things together and revive our economy on the domestic front, but also globally speaking as well, right? So he believes, again, right, this guy Barry Bannister from Stifel, is going to be a bumpy couple years ahead, right? So we'll see how that goes. And then the other news that I'm also seeing from JP Morgan is their price target, not price target, more like a fair value that they have published. $38,000 for Bitcoin at the moment. So they believe that's the fair value that Bitcoin should be trading at. And this is coming out from the global market strategist, Nicola Penzagozla. I can't say his last name properly. And he believes, though, if Bitcoin was to correlate directly to the volatility of gold based on historical projection, he foresees that Bitcoin should theoretically hit $150,000. He doesn't really say specifically what the time frame is, but I recall that he said something around the line that 150,000 by the end of 2022 would not be a big surprise, right? And then another news that I'm seeing from another bank, Goldman Sachs, right? They basically regurgitate what they have recently talked about from their economist. saying that despite the Feds have basically laid out 4 interest hikes, it's going to be 7 interest hikes based on their forecast, and they believe that makes sense, right? So that means, I believe we have already got over one hump out of the 7 hikes, so there's going to be more volatility coming, and this is something that ultimately these are collective speculations. No one can really predict the future. Everybody's just trying to use their logics to assess, what is the, appropriate economical outlook, so they can, advise or suggest to their investors, or corporate investors, if you may as well, onto making the right moves, right? So ultimately, with respect to all of these macro affectation, the best solutions for us to do is to really look into technical analysis to assess what is the momentum that we at right now. How are people psychologically thinking about the respective assets that we invested in? So let's just dive into technical analysis without wasting more time. With respect to recording time of 9:46 a.m. on the Eastern time, Ethereum could trade $3,123, up about 1.65% so far. We're currently 25 below the 3,150, which is a level we need to get to. Right now, the 56 out of 70, would I be buying now? Not really. I would be holding at the moment, because if we crack, which we have already, we're seeing it right now, to go back below 3,000, we're going to head to straight down to the 2850, right, as the next level of comfort, right? So I think technically with this weekend coming, as we digest maybe, that's coming out basically in 10 minutes, the University of Michigan report on the sentiment around the CPI report, we could potentially see, how the market's going to digest it. Obviously, it's a report. It takes some time for people to read it, so it's not just going to be an immediate effect, but we'll see how the day will do, right? So I'll keep you guys updated as the day goes on from here, right? But if it's a -1, we're going to be heading down, obviously, to the 3,000, right? Well, the real level is 3,050. But if we break that, we're going to go to basically linger around, like, obviously the 2,900, but the real level is 2,850 from here, right? In respect to Bitcoins, up about close to 1% so far. We're lingering around the exact level that I identified so far. So if we break it, right, we're going to go down all the way to the 4,250, 4,500, and then subsequently to the 40,000 from here, right? And Dogecoin's up about 1.5% at the 15 cents right now. Anywhere from like 14.21 all the way to 12 cents is still logical with the 51 of 70. So I probably wouldn't be getting in at the moment because it's not the most opportune time. Cardano is 116 right now. I like anywhere from basically 102 to 92 from here. Solana is at a comfortable level, right? We broke below the 112, right? So logically speaking, we will be testing somewhere around like the $100 because that's like a flat number. But I personally would be buying more if we crack below 100 and go down potentially to 95 to 80 from here, because that's a steal level. I look forward to doing it because I do believe in Solana and the long-term buy proposition. And I think, would I be buying now? I'll actually be buying now because fundamentally it's still at a discount if you compare that relatively, right? XRP is selling off as expected. We have dragged up really, really fast, really, really strong. So right now it's just looking for a reason to come back down. We are already seeing a curvature. We're seeing a curvature on the MACD front. So the next level that I would even think about buying would be anywhere from 69 to 57. I would touch it anywhere from like 60 to 57, to be honest with you. My tolerance level, right? Obviously. Polkadot at $20 right now. I like anywhere from basically 18 to 15.87 with the 46 out of 70. So it's not the best, not the worst. Algorand just broke $1. So we basically, I'll give a benefit of the doubt that we're at $1 right now. But I like anywhere from basically 95 all the way to 79 from here with the 41 out of 70. So not the best, not the worst, very mediocre at the moment. Shiba Inu is up about 3.6%. I like anywhere from basically low 2000s all the way to 1400 to 900 from here again with the 62 out of 70, so definitely not advisable. MACTAG is down about 0.63%. I like anywhere from basically 142 to 120. AVAX is down about flat right now. I wouldn't say it's down. We're lingering around 90 right now, but the next level when you get up to is basically 100. You could see that how many times we canceled out, right? So this is going to be not sustainable. I would not advise buying now. I would advise buying later down the road at 59 to 50 from here. or bare minimum at 65 from here. This is not a good setup at all. Very bearish at the moment for AVAX. Luna up about 5% so far. We're basically hovering and struggling around 52 or 62, right? I think a good level that a lot of people bought in recently, and I know some of my patrons told me 52 was a level to buy in, and you're up like a little bit right now, not a lot. But I'll preferably, just 62, 52, 45. I prefer 45 from here. 43 out of 70, so not the best, not the worst again, right? So yeah, overall market is relatively flat, right? We're still digesting what the Fed's going to be doing, right? Ultimately, there are a lot of speculations, and we can ultimately only look into the risk management level to dollar cost logically and not use our emotions, despite how crazy the world out there looks like, right? So hopefully this is helpful, and congrats to all the patrons that have been making crazy gains so far. I'm really happy for you. And let me know if you have any questions in the meantime. And I hope you guys all have a great Friday, and see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye.